The second type of sentence that we're going to transform into is the imperative. So the imperative is kind of easy. We've done one before. And imperative, we've always been taught that imperative means commands. And they kind of have a command-like feel to them, but they're not always commands. Basically, what the definition of an imperative is the fact that the verb has not been conjugated. So basically, we're dealing with the base form of the verb. So someone can say, be careful, and you've not conjugated that verb. Or help yourself, or say that again, or tell me a story. Because when someone says help yourself, I don't really feel like I'm being commanded as much as I'm being invited. So using the word command is okay, but I don't think it's always a command. Another misnomer is the idea that an imperative sentence has to have the word you that's understood, that you're not really coming out and saying the word you as the subject. And that's true most of the time. If you look at these sentences here, it's not really declarative because you don't have a subject yet. So when we transform it back, what we're really saying is, you be careful, you help yourself, you say that again, or you tell me a story. So therefore, it oftentimes will be missing the subject, in this case, the word you. And most importantly, though, is the fact that the verb has not been conjugated. So that's an imperative sentence. There are a couple other exceptions I want you to make sure that you're aware of. One is that sometimes the word you is actually stated and it's still imperative. If someone says, you behave yourself, well, you've said the word you, but you are still making an imperative sentence. Or, now don't you forget to write. Or, you do the best you can. These are all examples of an imperative sentence where the word you is actually stated. The other thing is sometimes you don't have to even use the word you. There are other ways of writing an imperative sentence, like somebody helps Hannah with the dishes. Well, somebody is actually the subject of this verb help. And it's imperative because you didn't conjugate the verb help. If you did, you'd say somebody helps Hannah with the dishes. But that's not what you're saying. Or don't anybody move. Just imagine someone robbing the Turkey Hill and saying, all right, don't anybody move. Well, anybody's the subject, and don't is the verb, don't move is the verb, but you've not conjugated it. Because if you did, you'd say anybody doesn't move, which would end up being the worst way of robbing a Turkey Hill. All right, doesn't anybody move? And I can't imagine that being anything intimidating at all. So let's diagram an imperative. They're pretty easy. Let's take a look at number 2 on our worksheets. Let me get out of this. Oh, this thing's always, yes, I don't want to keep my annotations. Sorry about that, everybody. And let's go to number 2. Short guy says, call me Grandmaster Fizzlepop, which was my rap name when I was in college. And so in this case, here's my verb call, but I don't have a subject. So when we diagram this one, remember, anytime we don't have something, we have a couple choices. We can leave it blank, but I prefer to either put an X or I'll put a second choice over here, the word you in parentheses, and then continue on. Sorry about that. I'm going to make sure that my C is capitalized because that's how it is in the sentence. So you call direct object me, and you're calling me or you're renaming me this ridiculous name, Grandmaster Fizzle Pop. And that makes it a beautiful pattern 10, where this noun is renaming this noun. So that's how we would diagram an imperative sentence. You can do the same thing with the word you as your subject and continue it on that way. Easy enough. Let's go to something far more interesting than this. On our next video, we're going to take on exclamatory. I need you to pay close attention to exclamatory. It sounded very deviant, didn't it? Pay close